Hello, guys. Welcome to Embarking on the Customer's Experience. I'm so excited to be here tonight and so excited to have my guest here with me as well. I'm telling you, customer experience has really changed since COVID. But before we get into that, I want to introduce myself as I could be a stranger to many and known to a few. So my name is Shalita Shante. I am the founder of the Millionaire Portfolio Group economic consulting firm and a newly agency owned life, health, and annuity specialist, independently ran MPG agency out of Tallahassee, Florida. So I'm so excited to be here. I work with many small businesses and also agents, helping them maneuver their way through the insurance industry. So, what took me 10 years, I help agents take less than 24 months to do. So, that's for people that are interested in running a independently owned insurance agency. And my whole purpose for that was to help decrease the economic wealth gap. That is my purpose. That is what I'm driven to do. So, without further ado, it's me, and I'm here. So excited to be here. So again, we are here to discuss the major changes that has taken place within the last 2 years in where our industry is taking us, where we are actually going in the online space, and also with our experiences that we are encountering. Um, wow, short staff, you name it. There's so many things that have changed within the last 2 years that is absolutely nerve-wracking a lot of the times. But I am here because I'm so excited to put a dent into that. And today is not only a master class for you, but it's also a master class for me. One thing about masterminding with other professionals in the industry, we get to sharpen iron with each other. So I'm so excited to be able to do that and to be able to be in the presence of other industry leaders that are making an impact in their daily lives with first their family is first, two, using their purpose to help others in this professional realm. So I'm so excited about that. So if you're on right now, go ahead and like this channel. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and press the like button right now. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, so we can get more of these type of master classes and have more of these conversations out in the public. So never, like no time before has information been so accessible until now, with the mainstream of Zoom, StreamYard, all these different social platforms has been able to bring so much in-depth information, and it's really like an overload. So we got all this information, but how can we implement? And that is what the master class is about. It's about not only getting the information, but actually implementation. That's more important. Learning how to implement exactly what you come across, what you learn, and run with it. So that's why I'm here. I'm so excited. So without further ado, I want to bring on my first guest. I mean, I'm going to let him introduce himself, but I'm telling you, it's literally almost been a 2014. How long is that? That's six plus one plus two. That's like 7 years ago since I met FJ Sweet Baby. I met him when he was running a marketing agency. He was doing these club promotion flyers back in the day, and he had this cool wrap truck parked at the Moon nightclub in Tallahassee, Florida. And I'm going to let him tell his story, but I believe, if not mistaken, he's the co-partner of ASB Marketing Solutions out of Texas. out of Florida, Tallahassee, and Orlando, a couple different locations. Fred Sweet is actually a genius. So just to have him on the platform, I mean, he reminds me of my oldest son, and they operate from a very high level mindset, like over here. So you have to catch the drift when they're talking. You just have to listen and kind of catch it. And when you leave, you're like, now I got to download this. Like, wow. So that is FJ Sweet all the way. We're going to bring him in now and let him introduce himself. Come on, Fred, baby.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yes. Yeah, all those sound good. I remember those days being back in promoting and doing other marketing stuff like the localized promotion and everything like that. It's the same thing, except we're on a global scale now. It's a lot easier with social media and other stuff like that. So, yes,
Right,
definitely.
right, right, right. So, just tell us a little bit of what you are into right now. I know so many things were a baby 7 years ago,
Uh-huh.
but
Right now, primarily, I of course do ASD marketing solutions. Working with clients from across the country, and there's a lot of other ventures that I'm working with. Feaselo clothing line, firearms company, working with that. Working with Crypt and Block, your blockchain technology, other stuff like that. It's quite a bit. So
wow,
I'll be all day about the different things. I'm a serial entrepreneur, like just trying to get my hands on multiple streams of income and basically do the best I can and serve as many as I can.
awesome. Because you actually went to school for engineering, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, everybody always, even today, just a few minutes ago, it's like, you went to school for this design stuff, or you went to school for this? Like, no, I went to school for civil engineering. And I was like, huh? Wait, you're running companies? Yeah, because what happens with engineering is we're taught to do problem solving. So
Exactly.
it works hand in hand. Like when I have
It's in
business.
line.
Yeah.
Exactly. I definitely believe that. I definitely see that. So it's, I mean, school is like for the experience and to meet people. I think we've gotten away from that. We've gotten away from the purpose of school. Like get out there, meet people, network. You never know where it's going to take you. So without further ado, like you were there in the bionic stages of the Millionaire Portfolio Group when it was just a mere organization
Mm-hmm.
and we were um, out there doing the education seminars and giving students from Florida State University
Mm-hmm.
and from FAMU School of Business opportunities for internship and to learn real life business, to get them from the books and to really get out there and practice business. So this is amazing that we are still connected. It's all about connections, growing your connections and, staying connected. So now, I want to bring on our next guest so we can really dive into the customer experience. Alex Branding, oh my God. See, it's daytime where he's at. He's over in California doing his thing. I mean, literally blew up online. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but um, he is a marketing coach and he started like when he was 17 years old. So let me tell you, success is not an overnight thing. There's so many years, so many trials, errors, sweat, blood, and tears really go into the entrepreneurship, building a small business. Some people look at it like it was just an overnight success, and it really was not. So many dividends was paid into the game for so many years, and then it's like, boom. So he has been amazing with working funnels. I know one of his funnels really blew really big with I forget the name of that thing, but when he gets on, he's gonna tell us all. He's gonna tell us all about it. But he really blew up the digital marketing and found a niche that really worked for him and has really been a blessing to me as well. So without further ado, I want to bring on Alex Branning. All right, here you go. Hey,
Hey,
Alex,
thank you so much for having me. This is so fun in a room full of powerhouses here.
definitely.
Yeah. So I am, for those of you who have not met me yet, I'm Alex. I'm out here in Redding, California. I'm outside. It's beautiful out. So I've been in business, like Shalita said, since I was 17. And it's been a fun road. Business really exploded for me when COVID hit, actually. I've been crushing it for a long time, but literally the month COVID hit, my business quadrupled in size overnight because of the SEO that we did. People specifically in the insurance space were typing in digital marketing for insurance because the game changed in the insurance space and they needed to know how to market online, and they would find me. And so I learned a lot about the customer experience. I learned a lot about scaling. So I'm excited to be a part of this conversation.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. So without further ado, I definitely want to dive in, and I want to say hello. We got a few viewers on right now. Tell us where you're from, viewers. Drop the industry that you're in. We definitely want to know if there's something that we can touch on for your particular industry. We want to touch on that. So we don't want this. We want you to walk away with something that you can implement. I'm talking about first when you get off the master class. So just hit the ground running. So let us know, what industry are you in? Where you're from? Say hello, definitely. If you're joining us from Facebook, hi Facebook. If you're on YouTube, that's where we have all the fun. If you're on YouTube, we're having all the fun over here on YouTube. And before we really dive in, I want to introduce everyone to the moderator that is on right now. Her name is Letitia Graham. She's a recent graduate from Florida State University, and she got accepted into the entrepreneurship program there at Florida State University. I'm sure she had an amazing experience. She loves learning, and she just entered the master's program for finance. And she says she's going to take it all the way to doctorate. But she has been shadowing me for years, diving into entrepreneurship and getting that hands-on experience. So I'm so excited to have her on the YouTube platform, helping push this masterclass on. So if you have any questions, definitely put them down in the chat. Any thoughts or comments that pops up while we're having this discussion, definitely put them down in the chat, and don't forget to like, so we can really expand this platform, and not everyone, but the people that need it the most can really take advantage of this master class. So let's get into this. Let's start right here. Like, what makes customer service experience go from good to great?
Yeah, that's a great question. If Fred doesn't mind, I'll jump in real quick with a quick answer. It's all about overcoming expectations, right? So for me, in my personal experience, when somebody comes in, or I'll put myself in the customer's shoes. If I go into an insurance agent's office and I have some questions about a life insurance policy, the expectation is that they'll help me answer my questions. To go over the top, if they leave me with resources, if they invite me to a class, if they connect me with other people who can also help answer questions that they're predicting that I'll have after working with them, that takes the customer experience from good to great. Putting it in the Brandon Group's shoes, the way that I take the customer experience and make it go from good to great is when they ask a question, like specifically about our software agent CRM, I make sure to answer that. And then I have a follow-up and say, hey, if you still have questions, join our daily Zoom calls. And then as you go down this road of building out this function that you had a question about, here's some other things, here's some other videos that'll help you with your next steps to take this out into the world. So the customer experience is not about meeting expectations. That's literally the expectation, right? It's
Exactly.
about overcoming it so that they walk away going, man, like, Shalita not only answered my question, but she knew where I was going and was answering questions I didn't even know I had, saving me time, frustration, and more, and making it so that I walk away from them going, wow, not only did I get my question answered, but I learned something, and now I have a path for the next steps.
Over and beyond. I'm telling you, I had someone chase me down to pay me when I wasn't even charging them. This is yesterday, just yesterday, because I took the time to not only do a strategy call with them, and then do a consultation with them, but then they still had questions. So I took a initiative to do a video so they could rewind it, watch it, rewind it, watch it. And she was like, I need your cash tag. And me being over 40, I don't know what a cash tag is. So I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. And she's like, I want to pay you. So I was like, oh, you're talking about, I have a cash app. So I'm like, well, here's my cash app. Gave me a tip and all. And I wasn't even trying to charge her. So yeah, I can definitely feel you when you say going over and beyond. People will chase after you to give to you when they feel that you're doing that. So Fred, what's your take?
My take on going from good to great is the overall piggyback on what he's saying is like they expect, for example, I have t-shirt envy and ASB marketing, but just now, just the client that was holding me over, they want a shirt done. They want it to the best of ability. They want, I just want something on there. But when you go above and beyond is when they take a design that they clipped art from somewhere and you break it down and you make it well beyond. You take that extra effort on adding artwork, little details that they want, but either A, they're afraid to ask for because they think it's going to cost a lot, or B, they're just not expecting. And then when they bring something as simple as a small design and you give them something that meets and definitely exceeds their expectations, that goes to great. And then past that is, okay, now you have the shirt down the line, asking them, how is your shirt? Like literally, people is like, that's the end of it. I'm giving you a shirt and it's over. Like, it's whatever. Ask them a week later, how's the shirt holding up? Is it washing good? Everything? Yeah, actually, it's good. And that gives you opportunity. Like, yeah, they really care. And on top of that, that doubles down. That keeps you in their mind. They're wearing something, their product, and he took the time to make sure that it still, went through the washes and went through this or whatnot. And also marketing clients like restaurants. I have a lot of clients that are restaurants. They might have good food, but what makes them great is when they recommend something based on what clients have returned. They really recognize the client when they come back. Or gym membership, they recognize the client when it comes in. I've spoken to this client for a while. I take the initiative to ask them how they're doing. So you're expecting at a restaurant to have good food, but you're not expecting the waiter to remember who you are and suggest other things to you, or if they don't know you, to suggest other, if not, other experiences that you might have in the city. So it can be around your product or service, but also you can expand upon the customer experience and make it more relatable. Basically, add anything that you feel that might be beneficial to them all the way around.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. And especially like with restaurants, because you were talking about a restaurant, right? Like, what I've noticed, what keeps me going back is they have this system where they're, well, I can't hold on to like cards because I know like with some services like my nail techs or they have like these discount cards. I'm not good at holding on to cards, so I'm not gonna do that. But I have this new restaurant just opened up the street from my home. It's pretty convenient. And now that they took my phone number, and every time I check out, I can enter in my phone number. And I guess it kind of keeps a track of how many times I ate there. And then it's like, oh, well, now you get a free drink or you get a free sangria or, whatever. So just me knowing that, it keeps me returning back. I don't know how much they pay to impute that inside, to have that, whatever it is, app, digital, I don't know what it is, but me having that in my mind, I'd probably spend more money with them. I probably visit more often, you know.
Mhm.
And I just see so many like, like some businesses do like these huge grand things like billboards.
Mm-hmm.
They focus on websites. They focus on just a lot of different things, but really ignore the back end. It's not like a one and done. When you have a client, it is not a one and done.
Yeah, it's been my experience that restaurants that I guess most people initially they want to be seen, they want to be heard. Like, look at, come check us out, and what happens in their day to day of running that business. They fail to basically extend their view past their room what's inside of this. So if I get a whole bunch of clients and a whole bunch of people coming to my restaurant and the food is okay, mediocre, but let's say the people are stressing and there's just it's a grand opening and all this other stuff, or the food was not not there, or even if your food is on par, it's ultimately about the experience. So I find a lot of again restaurant clients in particular that have great food that don't do necessarily well because of the customer experience, whether like the implementation of the system that you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
or just the overall customer relations. It's more like this is a business. I have great food, so come visit me. And then after a while of not being cognitive of being on the other side of the table, like coming here and the experience and the ambiance and other things like that. My experience is a lot of restaurants, especially really good ones, don't necessarily have that over above and beyond ambience, which is not an issue. But a lot of times, like the higher end restaurants, they'll look nice, but the food is kind of like, eh. So
Right.
in my experience, the ones that do pretty well usually have somebody personable that people recognize and want to come to, or a waiter, or there's even I can shout out to Olene's, like just Miss Olene's, if anybody knows who that is, just going to the restaurant, seeing her. She's been running that restaurant for years. Other things like that. I haven't been there in a while, but that's the one I can think of locally in Tallahassee. But
Right.
it's just a matter of what is the customer getting out of seeing you. Again, this Olene's. I haven't been there for a while. Hope they're doing well. Where they had like a desk where they had all the cards and everything out where you can, like while you're waiting on your food, you can be picking out various other things like that. And again, you can see her. Again, just this is random. You can see her walking to and from home. It's just small things that the customer experience um, that gets people more, I would say, personable, and also like I say exceeds what they're really expecting. So like you said, you want your point system and other things like that. That's just the implementation of an app. That's supplementary. But again, it's a way to like, look, here's a reason for coming back. You know,
Yeah.
other things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That reason for coming back, and we need that. Did you want to piggyback on that before we move on, Alex?
Yeah, I love what Fred said. One of the things as you're watching this right now as an entrepreneur, this could sound like a lot. Like, okay, how do I do this? How do I set up these systems? Like, how do I plan this out? I think some of the best marketing, some of the best things that you do from a customer experience can actually be automated. You can set up systems that for example, Shalita's experience about going into the restaurant and then, she enters her phone number and they know like how many times she's been here. That's something that they don't have to keep track of on a notepad. It's all done inside of an app, right? For an insurance business, somebody emails you and they have a question. You can set it up so that in 24 hours, if you have not seen a reply from them over email, you can send another message to them that checks in with them and says, hey, I sent you a message in response to your question, just following up. I just want to make sure you got your question handled. Very generic, very basic. But the fact is, they see that you're following up. On the flip side of that, when it's time to come up for renewal, right, with an insurance policy, a text can go out, a card can go out that says, hey, it's almost time to get a renewal. I just want to set up a time to review your policy. If you had to do all this stuff manually, it'd be overwhelming, especially as your business grows, right? But you can set a lot of this stuff up so it's automated. You don't got to think about it. You set it up one time, it's one and done.
Right, right. That's powerful. And I believe that kind of gets into basically like you're doing things that are organic. Keep
Hmm.
organic going. But then you want to blend in the automation because the automation is going to help you scale. There's only
Yep.
so much of organic things you could do as a one person or without hiring multiple people. And now we're in the age where we're not hiring a lot of people. What we're doing is we're subcontracting. We're getting exactly what we need to do what needs to be done. So the power of automation and integrations is an absolute right now when it comes to people that want to scale and sell their business, or at least have a business that's sellable, even if you don't want to sell it, but have a business that's sellable, trackable, where you can see, okay, this is what I have. You can have charts. You can know where business is coming from, who's continued to come, have that information, and the only way to do that is through some automations. It's so easy to do now. Like what we couldn't do 10 years ago or 15 years ago is much easier to do now, which is tracking. And I think that's amazing. So we have a question here from Britt from Be Fit Athletic Training and Fitness. What would be ideal steps of service for the customer experience? For example, surveys, outreach, connection.
So that's a really good question. And Fred, if you don't mind, I'll jump in and start this one that you can piggyback on me. What we incorporate at the branding group, as far as the follow-up for the customer experience, we love asking surveys like, how was it? What can we do better? And we don't ask the question, the wording is really important to get a response. If the customer feels like you're asking a question so that you can get a follow-up sale, they're not going to respond to it because they don't want to start down that road of getting approached by a salesperson. But if you ask a question, say, hey, I'm an entrepreneur working on improving my business. You recently reached out and you had a question. I would love to know what the experience felt like when you spoke to my team. Would you mind giving me an answer to these 3 quick questions? Right? Well, that they feel like, okay, I'm gonna give them some feedback and let them know. Now, if they answer it and they say it was all positive, then you can have an automated system that says, I'm so happy to hear that was really a great experience when you talk to my team. Would you mind posting that on my Google page? Here's the link. It is so hard in this crowded space with all the noise to get the word out, and hearing that customers like you had a good experience would really help me to grow my business and stay in business. If you have a moment to just copy and paste your answer here, here's what you said, and put it on Google, right? So that's one thing that I recommend doing. On the flip side of that, where you don't expect a response, one of my secret weapons is Mailbox Power, which we can integrate with Agent CRM. And here's how it works. Inside of Mailbox Power, you can set up a personalized greeting card. And so it could say hey, Shalita, it's Alex on the front, like a postcard where I'm holding it. And there's a little quote bubble or something like that, right? And then on the back of that postcard, it could be like, hey, Shalita, I saw that you reached out to my team. I'm just following up personally with you just to make sure everything went smooth. I really value and appreciate your business. Those little things, everyone, and we're talking about, Fred was mentioning, a lot of people spend money on big things like banners and websites. That might have been you, Shalita, but when people spend big money on those things, right? But it's the little things. Everyone opens their text message, and when they see that text from you, they feel valued, right? Then it's all about the that personal experience, that postcard in the mail that has your name, right? Mm-hmm. Those things mean a lot more than a billboard you see when you're driving. You know what I mean? Because that was sent just to you. So some of those things that you do, again, if you don't have it automated, it can be overwhelming. So the key is to automate that system so that you can make the customer experience go from good to great. And then, Biff, you had a great question, what does that look like? That's what it looks like for us, is automating all these systems. I personally use Agent CRM for all that. There's other systems out there as well, but that's what we use, Agent CRM. So we automate the entire experience, and it's all about wording and verbiage to make sure that they don't feel like they're being cross-sold or upsold in the feedback. It's all about just making sure that they've been heard. They go, okay, that was exactly, I got what I needed and then some, and then I got follow-up, and it's all about how they feel afterwards. And if they feel valued, they'll stay with you. Most customers don't leave because you don't value them. They leave because they don't feel like you value them. It's all in how they feel. It's not in the reality from you. You're like, oh my God, I love having them as a customer. If you don't tell them that or show them that, they won't feel how much you value and appreciate them. And so it's all about these small steps to make sure that they feel valued and appreciated.
Definitely.
Wow.
And with that, basically the automation of those systems helps out quite a bit. But if you're not at that level, a lot of stuff what we do in T-Shirt Envy is we'll ask a client before they leave, how did do you like your product, and because we don't want them to get out the door and not say anything and open it up and then leave a bad review or something like that. I want to address it before they leave. And then on top of that, a lot of times when we kind of plant in their mind, like, how was your experience? Hopefully we gave you a 5-star experience. And that's a plant in their mind, which we later on again check via like Google or text messaging. We have their information. Again, it's another way of checking up. Was this good? And again, the automated system is like the premium way to do it. But again, a lot of people may not be at that level or might not be aware of those automated systems. To start off with, you can use simple things like Google numbers, just to, if you're a smaller operation, to reach out to those clients and legitimately ask them what it is that you like, what it is about, this product or whatever that works out. That's not silly. I'm not trying to upsell you. I literally want to know what about this were you happy about, or what made you smile, or what didn't make you smile.
Right.
And in that, and again, if you have the time, or if you have someone who can do it, or an automated system, you want to be a little quirky in a sense, so it's not like robotic. You want to make it custom, and especially if you can remember, if you have that interpersonal connection with the clients and you make those connections, or you train your staff to make those connections, where they'll remember the little nuances, and then again make it personable, where they come back to like, you know what, that was it. I remember your design, and we talked about whatever subject was on that design, and how's it going right now? And then again, in their mind, they remembered that.
That's funny you said that, because I actually make notes on all my clients. I make notes about what they may tell me about their personal life. So when I talk to them again, I could ask about it, bring it up. Also, one thing I do that I surprise them with, once they get their first service with me, I actually send them a gift out in the mail. It costs me. Of course, I have to pay for stamp. Stamp has not gotten any less expensive, but I will send them something with my brand on it, but something that they can use, like a notebook or an ink pen or notebook, or just something that, FJ, something that you could probably, help supply, but send them that. And they're like shocked. They didn't see it coming. And they're like, well, wow, and I put my personal touch on it. So that's something that I learned to do. And the next time I talk to them, I can see their smile over the phone. You can hear it, not see it, but you can actually hear their smile. Well, Alex, I know you have to run, so I definitely want to.
Yes, it is Thor's Day. I got my little Thor hammer here that I got for Father's Day. So I got to jump to see the movie. But Shalita, it's been an honor. Thank you for having me on. Fred, so nice to meet you. This was a blast, you guys. Have a great rest of your time.
You too. So I do have an exclusive offer for this live stream, and that'll be coming up pretty soon. But let's, Fred, let's get into basically where do a lot of people mess up? I know we've kind of hit it a little bit where people are messing up in customer service, but just identifying that so we can put a solution on it and move forward.
A lot of people mess up by assuming the client understands or the client knows, or that, for example, are taking shortcuts. It's actually quite a bit.
Shortcuts.
So, shortcuts
and assumptions.
Yeah, shortcuts and assumptions. Shortcuts, that's the fastest way to do it over again if you're, legitimate, or the fastest way to lose a client. So what will happen is that happens to the most of us is where we go and we try to do our best, but what happens? Life happens. Something happens. Something wrong. So right. the thing that can make let's say less than positive customer experience become a great customer experience, those ones I specialize in, I mitigate almost daily. But it's, for example, to give you an example, you have a client that is, and again, I'm right now I'm in a t-shirt shop, so everything's t-shirts in my mind. So, you have a client that called and was like, hey, you know what? I had shirts done, and there was this I did some shirts, and I had Pops on the back of it, and I had Boss Lady on the back of it, and the Pops was like way bigger than the Boss Lady. And why is that? It just, it seems like the Boss Lady was really small and the Pops is big. And
right.
Again, I didn't print the order, but in my mind, I automatically understood what happened. Pops is only a 3-letter word, so it takes up less space this way, whereas Boss Lady is longer. So to make it work, you got to bring it down. But a client doesn't necessarily know that. And again, I didn't even print it, so I instantly knew what was going on before the experience. But she ultimately was not happy with it. But in me, like, explaining to her that, like, here's what we can do. I understand that you're not happy about the situation, and even though again I would take this responsibility and say it's on us, even though it technically isn't because we gave you the shirt, gave you the product, and everything like that.
Right.
And she understood my position. It wasn't a defensive one. It was like, okay, I understand what the issue is. It's just as simple as pops is 3 letters and boss letter ladies this long. So they have to, shrink stuff down to make that work. And she, you know what? You're right. You understand? You know what? You don't even have to. You know what? You're right. I'm just gonna come by and buy 6 more shirts. Like I understand that. I think you taking the time to explain that to me. And I get your point now, but it was just strange seeing that one on the back of the shirt is big and the other. Now that's typically not something I would do. So that was a learning experience for my staff to let them know that look, you kind of want to balance that or stack it. We put on it. And that was the solution we came up with. We have boss and then lady. That way you can stack it in that space instead of it being stretched out. That was a learning experience for them. And with the client, that's a learning experience for her, even though technically it's not her problem. But then again, it's one of those technical sides. So
Right.
if I can put myself in their shoes and I'm not ultimately happy with the product that I got, whether I'm right or wrong, unless you deal with those people that just want to be right or just trying to get over, I can understand that she wasn't trying to do that. And again, I haven't even seen the shirts. I don't know what it looks like, but because I took the time to explain to her, which
Mhm.
would have been, they just made my shirts and the bulk of the order, it was 8 shirts and 6 of them had boss lady on it. So that was the bulk of the order. So she was not happy about the bulk of the order. So that's a lot of money that again as a reputable business owner, I was willing to take that. Even
Mhm.
though I said most business owners, if you're not at that level where you can absorb those costs, it's like, nah, you know what? It's this is what, and they'll try to tell you, it's like this is what it is, and this is why it is, and you say, and that's automatic. That could easily go south. Like even
Yeah.
if it doesn't return, even if we replace it, now our name is mud in the streets just because of boss league without trying to explain. Like, look,
Right.
that's much wider than pops, and that's why if I took that defensive stance, like if I'm in a restaurant and other things like that, if I take
Right.
the defensive stance, like you're here bothering me, then like I did my job and whatever, and that's the a lot of times where I find a lot of businesses or business people or just staff in general have missed cues.
Mhm.
It's literally a situation where somebody calls me, I'm not happy about these 6 shirts, and I'm looking to like bring them back.
Mhm.
To now, she's buying 6 more shirts just because how it was explained to
Right.
her.
How it was
So
handled.
yeah,
Right.
so that it's a lot of people mess up in that field, and I'm not immune to that, as well. I mean, it was a good day, you know.
Right.
um, but and again, I hadn't in that time I hadn't seen it, but I understood based on the knowledge that I had
Right.
what happened.
Well, you
Also,
hold on right there. You said something major.
mhm,
You said that a lot of business don't have the funding to absorb, say, like when they mess up or when there's an accident, a mishap. Um, and it's just like it hurts so bad to have to absorb a cost, right? And you
mhm,
made me think about I had a business that I had started maybe like in 20, no. Forget how long ago it was. It was a long time ago.
okay,
And I dived into accessories.
mhm,
And the first order I had started to do drop shipping.
mhm,
And the very first drop shipment order I received, I learned a valuable lesson, but it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. So with the drop shipping, I couldn't see how the packaging looked. Packaging is everything. The item looked great, but the packaging
mhm,
was so ugly. The customer's like, nah, I don't want this. I don't want this. And this was through PayPal, and with PayPal would easily give customers back their money, even
mhm.
though the item was perfect, nothing was wrong with it. But for the simple how it arrived, what it looked like when it arrived, do you know how I was hurt? I was hurt. Like I didn't want to give up that money, but that brings me to this, like, funding is so important. And I think in our communities, we kind of take on this role as it's like us against the world. Like, if you're a small business, just starting out, even though, like, with automations now is affordable, but even if, like, the mindset has a lot to do with everything.
Mhm.
So if you thinking that it's you against the world, and only you believe in you, you know you have to allow people to buy into your vision. You cannot be afraid to express your vision. I haven't worked for too many companies in my life, but one company that I work with, which was a huge company, they had been around for like 150 years or more. But I never knew the vision. I was with them for a year and a half, and no one articulated that company's purpose or vision. And I was lost, and that threw me off so bad, and it interfered with my work performance. Because when I can buy into something, when I can feel that there's a crusade, when I feel that will impact the community in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and that people around me are like, we're on a mission, that gives me a better work performance. So I'm saying this to say this, like, if you're just starting out as a small business, funding is important, and you cannot overlook it. You can't hustle along the way if you have a mindset to build a business that will run itself. That was my whole objective about being in business, was to create something that is scalable, sellable, and that will run whether I'm there or not. I don't care if I'm going for a week, 2 weeks, the business still needs to go. I don't like to work. I don't work to pay bills. That's my mindset. Not that I don't have bills, not that if I put myself in a position to live paycheck to paycheck, that's how I'm going to live. But I take myself out of that. That's not my position in life. And that is my mindset. It's not about how much I have or whatever. That is my mindset. So I move with that mindset, and I make decisions based off that mindset. So let's get into I want to bring this home, because I have a solution for people. Somebody's laughing. Somebody's laughing. So let's talk about funding, because I actually put together a program to help businesses get funding. It doesn't matter whether it's through resources of credit that could help with getting the things that you need to run a business: computers, printers, things to create t-shirts. It doesn't matter. Toilet tissue, it doesn't matter. But you can't overlook private funding. You can't go into business in a deficit, and you can't go into business with a check to check mindset, because that's going to interrupt the customer's experience. It definitely going to interrupt the customer's experience. So I don't care if it's your family or if it's your friends. Get them all together in one room. Talk to them about your business. Ask them to invest with you. And you have to think about a way that you can give back to them. Like, what can you give to them if they invest in you? What can you offer them? It don't have to be an immediate offer. It could be a later offer. So private funding is not dead. You can start with people you know. I don't care if it's every friend. If you have 5 friends, you get $500 per friend. Boom, you got some type of funding. So I think, that's a good place to get away from, like, is it scarcity or scarcity, whatever that word is. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That word. and that's a way to create a better experience, because people can feel people can feel vibes, and when you walk into a place, you can feel it. You can feel what's going on. So yeah, I think that's definitely major. So oh my goodness. Um let's get into, did you want to add anything to that, Fred?
The customer experience, yeah, well, that's one thing. Again, it's a lot harder to be on the up and up if you don't have money for those mistakes. So you want to minimize your interaction, which again minimizes your profit. So it's like, that's a balancing act when you start off initially. But again, having a big brother or a larger company or other entities invest in you that can share in those costs helps along a lot. And like you said, families and other things like that again has its pros, also has its cons. So it's a matter of balancing that and make sure everybody's on the same page, which is a whole nother customer relation
That's true.
thing. And if they're in it with you, you also have marketing soldiers because then now they have money invested in you, so you have more mouths that are out there talking about go check him out because
Exactly. You get more, get your mentions up, get people talking about you.
uh,
Exactly.
yeah. So they have a vested interest in that. As I said, it's pros and cons to that. With a good team, it's definitely pros. With not such a good team, that's that's a slippery slope, as they say.
Free slope.
Yeah.
So you said something about entities, getting entities to invest.
Mhm.
I know one of the things that we do, and I think you do it as well. I'm not sure. I don't want to talk for you,
Mhm.
but getting
Mhm.
contract work, and there's some contract work that will pay you in advance for the work to be done. It could be 6 months in advance, it could be 1 year in advance, but you're paid. So all that means is that you need to mastermind how that work is going to get done. So if you already have the money up front for the work, that would be a better, put you in a better position to deliver quality work. Would you say, Fred?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. If you don't have to worry about, and again, that's what I've grown personally. Because again, back in the day, you have larger overheads, but again, once you get to a certain point where you're comfortable, a situation like somebody returning 6 shirts, which is like maybe $100 or $200, it's not like, oh man, that's now my sales for the day is down, and it's something. No, it's like, okay, well, you're not having a great experience. I don't want that to metastasize or be her to go and be upset about $200 worth of shirts and cost me $1,000 order. It allows you to expand your vision. Like I'm trying to chase this immediate dollar. I got to eat today versus I know down the line if this lady is not happy, somebody's going to hear about it and it's going to cost me money and I'm never going to see it or know about it. So I'd rather take care of this now.
Right. That's true. That's true. Wow. Wow.
But that buffer allows you to think in advance, which again, starting off, a lot of times you don't have that luxury. With that, it's always learn long again. Most people in survival mode, most businesses are in survival mode, so it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna eat that right now. It's easy. It's finding that balance till you get to that point. So it's nice to have a team of people that can do certain things. But again, when you're just starting off, you have to be that team, and in that team, you have to know that you can present well, or like you said, you for example, you gave a gift to your clients with your logo and other stuff like that. An upper, I won't say an upper notch, a different way of doing that. And I think I've read about this in a book. I was listening to it. I remember when I was hearing it. But the thing is, especially people who are like in higher level, like for example, wealth management entities and like that, where you're dealing with large sums of money or people who can affect your business individually in large amounts quickly. What you do is you give them something only they can appreciate, and it has nothing to do with your business at all.
Mm,
So your logo or nothing's on it, nothing that ties back to you, nothing at all. It lets them know that look, I'm not selling you anything. But by the way, I remember you like this particular golf ball. I like you remember like you like this, you like that. So it doesn't in any way tie back to you. It lets them know that you have more invested into them in the long term, and you taking the time to like look. It's not just about me. It's not like oh, it's t-shirt envy, so I'm gonna give you a free napkin with my logo on it. That's cool, and I might use it and everything like that. But versus getting me a hat that I really like, that I mentioned you in passing, and I can buy 20 or 30 of those hats, but if I remember that one it might be my favorite hat. So every time I wear that hat, I'm like, okay, yeah. Matter of fact, how are you doing? Let me call them, and it's not even business related. And like, yeah, and while we're talking and doing all this stuff, this is what I need from a business and company, and I've done well to grow like relationships like that, where I'm not out for self. It doesn't. If you want to buy something, that's great. If you don't, then we can talk about it. But regardless of which, if you're at that level or better, I can learn something from you. So regardless of which, I don't have to sell you anything. The fact
Right.
that you're in circles that know people that know this, then oh, you know what? I got a guy that has a guy, and then I get literally random phone calls from people around the country saying, I need this, I need that, and I'm like, sure. How'd you? Okay, and then I'll call, hey Bobby, man, I appreciate that. I was like, no problem, man, I got you. And literally, I don't even advertise anymore. My phone's going off, and it's because of years of experience of doing that. It comes from not being self, I would say, concerned. But again, you have to be self concerned to survive initially. So
Mhm.
it's finding that balance till you get to that sweet point. And again, I've been fortunate and blessed to get to that point. But I know starting off is like if something costs more than $50 a day, we're like it's a problem. Like especially with gas and this, and
Right.
I got this project and I spent all this money on this design, and either like you said, your package is not good, but everything's great, and now I got to give all this money back, and it's hard to bounce back from that. But what you can do is get consulting and counseling from some people who are at that level or better, not unlike ourselves. Because again, if I have somebody that's coming to me that's starting off, and like you're saying, you want to get investors or other people like that, if I can see your vision, if it makes sense, and if you're doing stuff, I would say that be conducive to business or to the experience of your customers or the experience of your consumer, and you're passionate about it, I'm willing to like, you know what, and not that I'm your umbrella or anything, but I'm willing to help you out. Like if I, for whatever reason, couldn't do anything, I am confident in my relationships with past clients and now become friends that I can reach out and say I need this, even though I really don't ever, almost never do that. When you build those relationships
I
and
was
they
gonna
see
say
how
that's
much,
good relationship building.
yeah,
Yeah.
and in that, that's part of literally the customer experience. I like my fiance was a customer, like literally,
Relationship
like
building.
good friends was just somebody who came by wanting something done, and now we're like lifelong friends. Like, except for that's the people I met when I was as a kid or in college. A lot of my close friends and business associates were clients, and now we're like family.
Wow.
So in that, it just depends on where you want to be and how self-concerned you are, because everybody's out for self. And once you understand that, if you're the person that's not, and again, you do have to eat at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, but if you're the person that can mitigate the amount of how am I going to be okay versus it'll be okay because I've made this web to catch me if needed be, um, you can I would say advance a little bit better. But that's a balancing act. It's
Right.
really a balancing act. There's no real direct way to get to it. It's a mindset. So you can't get so nonchalant like it'll be all right. I'll be caught and whatever, and you just you be out in the streets because you didn't pay your bills and like but you can't be so like I don't know what's going to happen. Like if I do this and that will shut you down too. It's a matter of finding
Operating
that.
out of fear.
Yeah,
Fear.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't be too lax; you'll get passed up. That's basically complacency, and you can't be too uptight. Which again, what most entrepreneurs, especially if they're driven, they're going to be uptight initially because they don't want to fail, they don't want to look bad, but they don't know how or why. And what I would suggest in that is mentorship. Like even I would need that if I want to talk to somebody that's at where I want to be or better.
Hmm.
So that is especially in business. Most people you need mentorships, and we're outside of the customer experience, but that is an experience in itself. Be
Right.
that customer, be that client, learn about something outside of yourself so you can help somebody. And then it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but should you come short on something like that, you will have that client that knows that you reached out and gone above and beyond. And the next thing you know, I needed some onesies, and the client, you know what? I bought a pack of onesies. I only need one of them. Here, these are yours. And then off that same pack of onesies, I sold them for $20. So I just made $100 just because I was nice to somebody.
Wow. Wow. You said a lot. You said a lot. So in your tenure, because you've been in this business for how long?
Oh, I've been in marketing officially since 2008. T-shirt Envy since 2016. Feaselo since 2012. And most everything else is like sub 5 years.
So tell me this, with small business, with you building relationships with small business owners, CEOs, knowing them, have you how have you seen like, or have you witnessed like a business that kind of turned around, that maybe was not doing so well but implemented some new things and was able to turn it around? What did that look like?
For example, um, I can think of one. A gentleman just came to me recently. Not that it was failing. Let me think. I don't really know. I can't say I don't know a lot of businesses that are failing. The thing is, if I interject myself and again giving that they're willing to listen, that's the key thing. If
Mm-hmm.
you're willing to absorb information. Now, if you don't want to absorb information, it's going to be your way. Then I can't say that's the quickest way to fail, but that really reduces your chance to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
There are those that don't do well in that sense, but I've been fortunate enough to have individuals come to me because they see some level of success, or just because they come to me in general, because I'm usually to myself and I rarely ever go out, and I try to do my best to reverse that. Like if I see somebody, now I'm at a point where I see where you are and what you're doing, and now I'm at the point where I really want to help you because that's what I wanted to do, and I really wish I had the help, but honestly, I don't even have the time to do that anymore. So I want to. It's sort of like having a child that you want to do better than you. Like, and this is a complete stranger, but they have the passion and they have the drive to make sure their business succeeds. So, in that relationship, reaching out to that individual is like, hey, you know what? I've been working all these jobs and it's cool. I've immigrated to this country and everything's cool, whatnot, but I really just want to work for me. I just really want to do art and other stuff like that. And I'm working at these various places and it's cool and whatnot. But my passion is if my bills are paid, like I just want to just do this one thing. I just want to work. I just want to basically make money off my creative. And I don't have to be rich or anything like that. I just want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So then that individual, I could see like, look, I just want to be able to survive off monetizing my passion, which is what that I could see myself in that situation.
Right.
You take something that's literally most people would not even look at trash and turn it to art and sell it for $300 or $400. Whereas if you know, and it's like art is the biggest scam or scheme, whatever, what some people say. But if you knew the actual cost of art, it's like, why am I paying $1,000 for this? You put like $10 worth of ink into this. Like, why am I doing it?
It's not about the ink, it's about who's doing it. It's about
Exactly.
the creative. You're paying for the creative.
Exactly. Exactly. And with that being the case, with him again, it's not that his business was failing, but it's a matter of just interjecting that information, just like somebody I talked to, I said, discussions with billionaires, like, just their state of mind is like it's different. It's the having that, like, if this goes south, I won't say nonchalant, but it's like if it's not doing this, then X that. It's not doing that, then X that. It's not doing that. Which all these things that you at certain levels seems to make sense, but at the same time you're concerned about looking good. You're concerned about surviving. You're concerned about feeding your kids. You're concerned about paying these bills. All are legitimate concerns, but
Mm-hmm.
you remove a lot of the, I would say, angst, or I won't say emotional part. I won't say that like a bad thing, but a lot of the angst out of it, like how do I do this or what am I going to do there? You'll find it opens up to allow you to think clearly, and especially if you have mentorship, because you've seen somebody and know somebody who can do it. So I'll say that the biggest thing about it is the mentorship, finding somebody who's done it, or finding an expert, or paying an expert to do it.
Right.
Because again, starting off, might not have the money to do these things.
And that's what people pay me. That's one of the things I get paid for. I took 10 years to do something. Now you pay me this,
Exactly.
so you can do it in 2 years.
Exactly. So, case in point, like the information, like the CRMs, like the automated system that you was talking about previously. Like,
Mhm.
if you don't know that, you could be doing it the old school way of trying to call clients and do all this other stuff and send them messages and other stuff like that, which eats up a lot of your time. Or you can pay somebody to do that, would cost a lot of time. But just knowing, he mentioned it, I don't remember it, but I think it was automated CRM. He mentioned it.
Right,
I'm
right.
gonna rewind and look back, but that's valuable information just in that. Even if you didn't hear anything else he said, now you have a resource that you wouldn't otherwise have that you can go
Exactly.
back and utilize for your business. And
Right.
that's it. Again, resources like what you have, like the different strategies for your funneling people into your business and other things like that. Whereas I can go learn this stuff, like
Hmm.
you do what I do and go experience stuff around the world. You can do it yourself. Or what I've learned to do is just read books or listen to books and basically let that experience come into me, or pay somebody. I'm at the point before I want to keep my money close to me.
You gotta learn how to open your hands so
Yeah,
something can come back to it.
yeah, and at the same time, it's a balancing act.
Right.
I'm like, I need this money, like, but after a while, it becomes, you get to a point where, is this worth my time? Like, if you start off a business, your time, not to say that it's not as valuable, but if, for example, if I don't know how to do taxes, for example. If I don't know how to do taxes, the time it would take me to study taxes, learn taxes, to get as efficient as paying a professional that knows what they're doing,
Hmm.
it would be, unless I plan to really do that, it's better off to pay somebody to do that, because you can use that time and interject that and put that into your business and make 4 or 5 times more than what you would have been trying to learn how to do taxes. But
Right.
again, starting off, you don't have that money anyway. So you're going to have to learn how to do this. You're going to have to learn how to do that. But again, once you get to a certain level in business to thrive and survive, you need to rely on professionals, which again, I had a hard time, honestly, doing initially, because I felt that, like, look, I'm paying this amount of money and you did this. And now I'm like, I could have did better. Like, so I'm not happy about that. But again, once you get to a certain plateau, a certain level, it's like, you know what? That wasn't like the best haircut, but the way I wanted would have taken like maybe an hour. Yours is like 20 minutes. And in that span of time, I now have made twice as much as I paid you. So I'd rather just give you $20 instead of spending a whole hour on my hair if I'm making 150 an hour. And, you gotta do the math. so it's just a matter of those various things. So I
Wow.
know I talked a lot, but that's that's part of it.
Uh, so shout out to all the viewers for taking time out to join us today. Don't forget to check out the link. So if you want to get familiar with digital automation, um, we have a program for small business that's in the millionaireportfoliogroup.com. If you're in financial services, real estate, anything where you are a licensed professional and you work to serve people, automation is the new you. You can duplicate yourself without being everywhere and get that back in without hiring an assistant. It's much more affordable. You could take a look at joinmpgagents.com. Yeah, this is it, commercial intercept. We also have a major training program just launched for people that want to get into government regulated Medicare products. So that is available as well for training, learning how to sell and get renewal and residual income. Not only that, it is for people that want to be independent and build their own practice in doing that. So if you're in health, if you are we found that most people that do very well and that are very interested in doing it is someone that has majored in public health as their degree. Entrepreneurship, we've even had doctors to cross over into building a Medicare sales platform, because the liability is much more less than dealing with clients. So I definitely have enjoyed this. Do we have any comments or questions from the people that are watching? If you're on right now, I see 4 people on right now. I can't see everyone on. So from the YouTube platform, I'm seeing a few people on. Let us know who you are. Thank you for joining. Where are you from and what industry are you in? We would love to know. We are about to wrap this up, and if there's any nugget that we can give you particular to you, let us know. If you want to come on to the live stream and add something here, I will send you an invite. You can come on before we wrap this up. This was amazing. I've learned a lot just being here. Fred, we're about to get started in those masterminds. I cannot wait for that. I'm looking forward as early as next month. You know, when I say something, I'm ready to get it done, implemented immediately. So yeah, Fred, if you want to connect with Fred, how can someone connect with you? Any social media platform that you're on more often?
Yeah, I mean they're all great, but I'm usually masterminding, so I'm really bad with like social media. Only time you see me on social media is when I'm like traveling and enjoying life. Otherwise, my head is ducked down and I'm like like getting it. But I'll put out the company information. T-shirt envy again. I'm just in my mind because I'm surrounded by shirts right now. T-shirt envy. That's t-shirtenvy.co. Right now we have a new machine where we can print shirts in an hour or less. That's great for business owners that want last minute stuff for seminars, business stuff like that. Where you come to us, or you can email us on our website. Go to get a quote. We can print that for you. Or for clients that are not here, we can print it and ship it to you much faster than most other entities can get it to you. On the marketing side, we do website, business development consultations, various things like that. And on Easily, right now, working on fragrances and other stuff like that. I've slowed down on that one because I'm busy moving other things around. But ultimately, to reach me, you can find us if you're in. Oh yeah, new shout out to new office in Tampa. So if you're in the Tampa area, there's now.
Yay, Tampa, new office.
So yeah, there's a new t-shirt envy in Tampa. So I'm looking to grow that. So it's literally like a fledgling situation. So now this is an example where I can show clients what can be done. Like we're literally just getting there. How we can go from zero to profitable and how long that takes and what I did to do those steps. And I can use that as like a showcase to my clients even down there of what you can do given our experience and what we can implement. So I can take a small t-shirt entity, which is decent size here, but there is non-existent, and how long it's going to take to the point where it's like we're into like people know, like so that is the newest project for right now.
Wow.
And again, it's just showing what we can do. It's not a matter of we need to have to grow this, but again, if I can take a smaller entity and take these steps to get there, what can I do with your business?
So Fred is he's not like me. Like I'm all over social media. Fred is a very hands-on. The only way you can catch Fred truly is through masterminding, which that is a group that we are forming, a mastermind. So join MPG membership and become a part of our monthly masterminds. It's going to be amazing. So I definitely enjoyed having you here in this space, Fred. Is there any can you sum up a 3-step to do for a small business or entrepreneur that are looking to implement a customer experience, like in 3 easy steps?
3 easy steps, especially the way people have their phones now. The first step would be Google My Business. So that's GMB. That's getting reviews. That's asking for reviews. You can't incentivize that, but asking for reviews, asking when you have a great experience with a customer to have a QR code where they can scan it and write that experience while it's on their mind in front of them. And again, it's not something like you got to do this. It's like, you know what? right now I'm really starting off, and I really appreciate, just your take on what happened. And it's something as simple as they can scan their phones and do it right there in front of you. Like that. That's one thing, because most people, when they search up stuff, they're gonna Google it. I'll say 80. The business that I don't get from word of mouth, the other 80% is Google. And then, as I said, we again, most of our claim to fame is we don't spend money on advertisement. And again, I don't suggest that to most people, but my idea behind that is to show people what can be done with our services. Because we
Mm-hmm.
don't spend money on advertising, because we are the advertisers. We are the ones putting the stuff out there. So indirectly we are in paying ourselves and paying staff. We don't go to like a billboard company, or and again, those are supplementary. Those are all good things to have in other genres. But if I'm in the swimming pool world, I don't want to go to another pool company and to try to get clients to tell them how to come to my company. I want to show, for example, T-shirt envy, and I tell this to everybody boastfully because I'm proud of it. T-shirt envy was only developed as a stop loss and as a way to get business owners to come to us without us spending money on them.
Now, wait
Because
a minute. You said developed as
a stop loss. So, for example,
stop
in
loss.
the stop loss, and I just said, in Tallahassee, used to be. This is back in the day.
Okay.
Season. So during the summer, there's not a lot of like restaurants and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I
They
know
don't
about that.
they don't like advertise or promote a lot in the summer. So in the summer, like in fall homecoming time, everybody's eating gravy. But like in the summer, it's like they're not spending money because nobody's in the restaurant, because the students and stuff are gone, right? So I'm like, what is needed like 24/7 during this time? Like family reunions and stuff pick up. Like let's do family reunion shirts and other stuff like that. We already print shirts for businesses, so
Right.
it took off from there. And then on top of that, it's like, you know what? I'm a marketing company. I don't want to spend money at a radio station to tell them how to market to me. I don't want to go to a billboard and say like we can do your websites, or do these various things that cost money to tell some people how to do what I do that's going to cost them money. So I remove just thinking out of the box. I remove myself from that system. What do
Mm-hmm.
business owners need? They need shirts. They need advertising material and other stuff like that. All right. I'm not going to be at the time, again, it's starting off. We're a marketing company primarily. I'm not trying to go head to head with large print press company and full press. I'm not trying to do all that. But what can I do that they don't do? So
Right.
that's where we came with that niche. Is we do stuff at the time, it was same day service. So and then it became 1 hour service. And now we got a machine where we're gonna pump out full color shirts within minutes. Like they
Wow.
become, whereas the other shops, if it's one shirt, they're still gonna tell you like 2 weeks for one shirt, and then charge you a ridiculous price because it takes them a lot more to set up that one shirt. So we, after a while, had the ability to invest in more equipment that allows us to pump that out. And in that, because we didn't spend all that money on advertising marketing dollars, I can give my client a better price, because mostly advertising is about 10% of your profit margin anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can, where it's like, oh, your prices are great. That's what we always say. It's like, oh, they're kind of low. That's because we deferred that marketing and put it back into our employees' pay and put it back into our equipment that we can get up, and then offer a client a better price. So with
Wow.
that
So
dynamic,
that's the strategy. I hope y'all heard that strategy.
yeah, so that's free game. So that's the golden ticket, but not everybody can do it, and not everybody should do it based on their field. That's
Right.
what worked for us, and that's what I specialize in, creating systems that work for a particular. Now you can get a broader scope that'll work for all these other things like that, which is great. I like customize and custom. I like to be the sniper. I can shotgun information out to a client, but I want that client, the one that's behind that over there, and how do
Right.
I get them without going through all these people, and how do I get them to come to me?
And that's your
You know what?
strength as an analyst. That's your
Yeah,
strength to listen and
yeah.
come up with a
I figure out what you want. You as a
right.
business owner, you want to go and promote yourself and look good. You don't want to go to a place and tell you 2 weeks to do it, and they charge you a lot more, even though it's really a fair price.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how can he charge so less and do it faster? That's why, because I don't spend money on advertising, which again, I do not advocate that. Most people, you need to do that. But in
Right.
this case, because it's like a mechanic, I don't need to spend money on mechanic service because I am a mechanic. I'm not going to go to another mechanic, which again, if you're at a certain level and you're getting paid X amount of money to be a mechanic, it is cheaper to have your own mechanic work on your own stuff because you're gonna make money.
So let me ask you this: what would you identify as advertising? Because I think some people confuse advertising with marketing.
Oh, so so all right. As an engineer, I can break it down like this. There's an architect and then there is a contractor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So marketing firm is the architect. We're the ones putting out game plans to do certain things. The people promoting in the streets, they're the contractors, or the flyers, or the people that are promoting on your Facebook. Those are the contractors. As a marketing agency, I'm creating a game plan slash blueprint for your business to be seen, heard, recognized, to be to the point where a certain scent, smell, or color comes in mind, and your company pops up in their brain. That's my job to make that happen. Versus a promoter, it's their job to take your material and get it to who they feel or who you think is going to get it to them right. But there's no that's implementation. That's a contract. The contractor didn't design that wall. He built it, but he
Mm-hmm.
didn't design it. He's not working on the loads. He's not working on the structural aspect of it. He's looking at plans, and this is what I need to do. Sort of like when you get people to do your social media, like posting, they you might be conceptualizing, but a lot of times they're just posting it, implementing it on different genres and different people that they know personally within their practice. But they're not overall looking at a mass scope of how your social media ties in with how your pamphlets look, with how your website looks, and how
Mm-hmm.
all these come together so you have a clean, consistent look and feel to
A
your business.
clean, consistent brand,
Yes.
and the brand should speak to the client, right?
Yes, of course. It should whisper to them, come spend money with them.
Right, right, right.
That's what she do. So that is what I like to do. I like to compose. I won't say I'm terribly creative. I'm a composer. So I take things, entities, research and reapply.
Right.
We call it. And it's not that I'm the first one to do it. I'm not the first one to offer 1 hour shirts. I'm pretty sure not. I'm not the first one to do shirts. It's
Right.
how I do it and why I do it. That is that dynamic that changes and switches up things.
Yeah.
It's like
The how and the why. So identifying the why is most important. As a leader, you have to have your why intact so that can be passed down to the people that you have to train
mhm.
and have to work with you.
And then that's actually what we're actually working on. So T-shirt envy happened again. It wasn't designed initially to be what it is now, which
Mm-hmm.
is not unlike what a lot of my clients is like. Once you get a certain level of success or been business, like you didn't start off thinking it was that. Like I said, T-shirt envy was just like this was my clever way of not having to spend a lot of money on advertisement and at the same time getting new clients. Because I tell clients when they come, especially their business owners, the only reason T-shirt analysts exist is because you're here and we want to convert you to marketing clients. And I'm being completely honest with you. We make great shirts, but
Right.
that's why you're here. So, and they're like, oh yeah. And then with that again, to them, it's like, you know what? He did do this. So I think in that sense, they see that I won't say ABC because again, there's nothing wrong with that platform. But when you have a maverick versus somebody who does it well, the Maverick usually gets stuff done more creatively or more, just like I never. It's more wowing, as I say.
Right.
So, um, yeah, with that, yeah. So that's how I
So they
started.
trust you. I always say a client is never your client until they purchase the second product or second service for you.
Mhm.
Not until then are they your bona fide client that's going to continue to use you as that go-to person in that lane. If they haven't purchased or used you twice, that means you have some following up to do. That means you have some customer experience to give so that that person is completely sold on you as that go-to, as that consultant, as that professional, as the person that can deliver. So I think that's definitely very crucial when it comes to saving tons of money while we're always searching for that new client, that new client. if we can't cater to what we've already gathered, then we're not really using our budget in the best way that we can be utilizing it.
Yeah, the best way to get new clients is to wow your current clients because people talk.
Oh, people talk. Oh my God, people talk. People talk, and I love Google. People always gonna Google. I love Google. They gonna Google you.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
we're literally, I had like 75 people register for this event. No matter who's viewing now, they're gonna. It continues to get on the replay, and that was all from, I would say, from people. They saw the event. They didn't make the decision to register from the event. They said, well, let me go look on Google and see what this business is about. Oh, there's a website. Let me check out the website. The website had a huge spike in one day. And I could correlate that to when the event was published. So 70 people went to view that website. What this is organic. This didn't come from any Facebook ads or anything like that. So I was able to look at that chart and identify exactly where the visits came from. Do you know what that information can do for me? Now I know exactly where people of interest are. So I can retarget people of interest. So that's the thing now. We're moving into what we call the metaverse. It's taking over. So grassroots isn't dead. Grassroots is alive. Grassroots, organic reach, and automation, I think that's definitely where it's at. So we got someone here that says something about loyal. Let me see. We got a comment here. To have loyal customers, they come to you more than once. Not a customer until it has been more than one time they use your service. True that. All right, Fred, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you everyone for joining. Listen, there is an exclusive. It's going to be down in the YouTube description. There is a automation challenge that you can enter in where you're going to be guided every day. When you enter the challenge, you know exactly what to do on a daily basis to automate reaching out to your existing customers and also acquiring new clients. So check out the links. Most of the links will take you to do a free strategy session with me. And if we have what we call exclusive partnerships in small businesses, Fred Sweet is our marketing analyst, where he takes a look at the entire picture and is able to critique and do a full vision for your business and make everything congruent with your advertising and your marketing. So we add that with analytics. You know exactly what you're doing and where your business is going. I hope everyone has a great day. I'm out of here. Fred, do you have anything else to say before we leave this platform today?
Yes, I greatly appreciate you having us on, and I look forward to doing more business in the future.
Thank you.
And seeing what everybody else wants to do, like as far as their marketing strategy. I look forward to that. I actually enjoy it.
All right. Bye, guys.